You are now listening to the I Think I Love My Wife podcast. And this is your best friend's best friend, Chidozie Okafor, ready to take you on another journey. Are you with me? Because I'm ready. Let's get it. In this episode, we'll talk about the importance of making time and space for yourself, especially in a relationship. We'll explain the intentionality required to keep the spark alive in a marriage. We'll discuss balancing your emotions and understanding that you don't have to project everything that you feel. We'll share our perspective on dating women with children, and we'll highlight what we believe people are actually looking for in their forever partners. I'm still with DJ. He's dropping gems, knowledge, and I appreciate him because I think he's keeping it real. Like I look at him like, yeah, I can just see how it's playing out. I don't know that it's always gravy, but it's good overall. Mm-hmm. You know, your trend line's good.
Appreciate it.
One of my favorite parts of the interviews that I have with guys is the round robin.
Okay.
And so we're just gonna ask you a series of questions. Mm-hmm. To give us your short answer version. Okay. And then we may double back on a few of them that I want to, and then if some you want to go on, we can.
Let's do it.
So now it's that moment you've all been waiting for, our Sharper Quickfire round, and it's sponsored by Sharper Services. So the first question is, do you believe your wife should be your best friend?
No.
Like, is it necessary for your wife to be your best friend? Is your wife your best friend?
One of them.
One of them. Okay. From a love standpoint.
Wait. Let me finish this. Go play.
Let's get this quickfire in. Let's get this quickfire in.
Come on. I got to do this quickfire, William. I got to do this. Go play with the letters. Show me you can do all the letters. You got to take the letters down.
Come on, Daddy.
Not yet.
From a love standpoint, what's the priority? Wife over children or children over wife?
Wife over children.
Was your wedding worth it financially?
Yes, we got married destination wedding. Did it under $9,000. Boom.
Nice. Where'd y'all go?
Ocho Rios, Jamaica.
Okay. Was her family there? Or close
yeah, her family's from...
I didn't know if they're from that part of Jamaica.
Kingston, the Grill, Mobay, yeah.
If you thought about, like, if you had a set amount of money, what would you rather have more money going to? Is like a big ring or a big wedding?
Wedding, because it's an experience.
Okay. Do you guys do joint accounts or separate accounts?
Joint.
Like all your money goes into one account first, and then y'all figure it out?
Correct.
Okay. How are you with the in-laws? Are you fans of them? They cool?
Yeah,
we're buddies?
Both. Yeah, we're both fans.
When we see them?
We're both fans of each other's in-laws.
Okay. True or false? Guys mature later than women.
True.
Okay. Okay. When it comes to like sex, we can do phases of it. You know, in marriage, before having a child, what was your preference? Like all the time, sometimes.
Like 21 Savage says, a lot.
A lot. I should have played this song. I wasn't ready for that. All right, and what was the reality?
Not a lot. I mean, not as much.
I mean, let's say take out the long distance part, but y'all living together is just not as much.
Yeah, when you're together, yeah, it's in the beginning phase.
Once a week, once a month.
For me, I got a high drive.
That's why. What was her? Like, what was the reality of it? Like, what was y'all actually doing?
Less than what I wanted.
Yeah,
but we were still good.
Got it.
Yeah.
Was that still good? You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but still good. Like more than once a week, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay. And part of the question is like, we do enough of these so people can get a baseline of like what's real and what's
bullshit,
unrealistic expectation.
Yeah.
After the child, I'm sure your drive is probably still the same.
Yes.
Has hers changed?
Yes, especially because we have another one on the way.
Yeah, but even before that one came, like...
it changed, yeah, for sure.
It was worse. I heard some women get, like, want to have it more after they have a kid or pregnant and stuff like that.
Depends on the woman, but it goes down, for sure, yeah.
And so this is like if you can do math well. Mm-hmm. So you think about 100% pie, right? Mm-hmm. And this goes to the standpoint, like, men have their minds in a lot of different spaces.
Yeah.
When you think about yourself, like your overall mental health, yourself... When you think about your marriage, when you think about romance and your child and your career, so we have 5 buckets, right?
Sure.
Yourself, your marriage, your child, your career, and your wife.
Okay.
How do you divvy up your mental capacity?
I think those are moving averages.
Like today, like currently. I believe it's very dynamic, right? Someone that's early in their career may be more career than someone that's further on. But like today, where is the split?
I think right now it goes more children, because I have another one coming on the way. More children, less career right now, especially because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So it's harder to think about that next promotion when you're not even there.
Yeah.
So heavy child, Marriage is up there now because I told you at that place where we're really, in a groove. So career would be towards the end of that.
What about you?
Me, I find time for myself quite a bit.
So you kind of like,
I've brought myself up.
Constant.
I brought myself up from like creating more space and time for myself. Yeah,
cool. We'll double back on that one
for
sure. This is probably tough, but how much alone time do you get with your wife?
A bit more than other married couples with kids. Here's why. My mom lives locally.
Okay.
Nice. And she's loving to. Y'all want me to watch your son while he's So we'll
take you on that.
So example, we'll take a sample size of this. The past 5 weeks, she's watched him 4 of the weekends.
Okay, nice.
And it's not anything where we're forcing him on her. It's she's really wanting to do it. So it gives the wife and I time to have some alone time. A lot of times that's just us kicking back, sleeping in an extra 2 hours, chilling, relaxing. Absolutely, yeah.
Not having to figure out what we got to do for our child.
Right.
Do you think you married up?
Yes.
Okay. And who runs the show? You or your wife?
I think mostly me.
Okay. No, there's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
We can talk about that.
Yeah.
What's your wife's greatest attribute?
Risk taking.
Okay. And then for you, what's more important, to be respected or to be loved, like from your partner?
Respected.
Okay. I mean, that was the majority of it.
Yeah.
Before we dive deep, I want to let listeners know about Sharper Services. If times are tough right now, then I know how important saving money can be. Sharper Services, an ACN independent business owner, works with his clients to provide great rates on all home-related bills like electricity, cable, and internet. Check out www.sharperservices.com. That's services with an S to get a free quote and start the process to save money now. He provides this free of charge, it's convenient, and it's hassle-free. Tell him the podcast sent you, and look for more details in the episode description. So before we continue with the interview, I want to double back on a couple questions.
Sure.
And so you said that you create time for yourself. Mm-hmm. You make sure. Like, how important do you think that is?
That is absolutely.
And I ask because I was talking to, I think, a dating coach, and she was saying, like, guys do a better job of creating boundaries, for themselves.
Yeah.
And things that they don't like. For, like, when it comes to, like, things that are real big contention points, they're good at drawing that line for them.
Yeah.
And so, like, how was that process of you making sure you had enough space for yourself and then working that into, like, the marriage so your wife understands?
Yeah, it's not easy at first. I know there were times when I wanted to go play poker, do music, and it was some contention there. Mm-hmm. And I was saying, like, these aren't things I'm doing to avoid you. These are things I'm doing so that when we come back together, it's better.
I'm fully there.
Yeah. These are my releases. And I think let me rephrase it. As a man, as a woman, you have to have releases. These are your things you do, whether it's pedicure, spa, whatever you do, you need to be able to do those with some regularity to balance. Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned the joint accounts. Was that a thing that you both came in together with the same mindset, or did it take some conversations to align on how you guys want to do your finances?
That was kind of the default setting. As she came and got her career established more, we were able to tweak those and have her, have her own little side accounts or whatever. That's fine. Like, I think that makes sense because of the things you want to do. You should be able to put money aside and go do them without being questioned or grilled on them. Mm-hmm. Right. So I have a poker account. I use that and I go play poker with.
Does that stem from once you guys put all the money in the account, you guys figure out what's important, and is it whatever's left you figure it out, or there's like you treat it like a thing, like we treat it like an expense, like a certain amount goes into that, so you can do whatever you want with it.
And then I was like, all right, here's your poker limit. If you don't win, then you
got nothing else.
Yeah, it ain't like the carryover minutes.
Wait till the next.
Yeah. But so when I win, like I've won. So in the last 2 weeks, I'm probably up $3-4 grand.
Yeah, so you got extra there.
Yeah, and I put that towards the earnest money for the house we're buying. Yeah. So that
was your choice.
That was my choice. Yeah. And it
I thought you made some money.
Right, and it made sense. Like, if you're gonna be gambling, or I don't look at poker as gambling because I'm playing against people.
Yeah, you're strategic.
Yeah, so if I'm gonna make money in that, I want to have something to show for it, and that made sense to put it towards that.
No, I feel you. I think some people have situations where, when it comes to like the investments that they're making for like their family, they have a strategy, right?
Yeah.
But they still have that like itch to like be, I want to be the day trader, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So they have a certain amount that they will play with so they can scratch that itch.
Yeah.
But it is not anything that like our livelihood depends on.
No, I'm not gambling with the rent money.
Yeah. And so I think it's important to like have those delineations
Absolutely.
for those things. When you're not finished yet, you got some more letters up there. Put them back in the bucket, please. When you think about your finances and like how you guys have it split out, I always ask the question: so how do gifts work? Does it come out of like? Do you have like a gift? I've seen some people have like a gift budget, and
we haven't gone down to gifts usually.
Or it's like here's my side money that I use for a gift.
Yeah, here's been the dope part about the pandemic is like all the gifts that you would give and go to birthday parties, and we ain't giving that because we ain't going to the birthdays, right?
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten down to the.
I'm talking about like for each other. Not for
giving
people.
gifts to each other.
Yeah, how does that come out of your side money? Does it come? Y'all have like it's a gift, line item?
It usually come out of the joint. Like if it's something she wants to do.
It's more like you being thoughtful, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be thoughtful. Yeah, where it comes from.
And I'm asking because I think when you're single, those are things you just have assumptions for.
Right.
Like you're like, well, we were dating. He bought me a gift. It was all his money. And then you get into marriage, and I think that until you actually have to like talk through some of those things, all those things are like assumptions. Like, yeah, he's gonna buy me a gift, but like the reality is not. I'm buying myself a gift, kind of.
Yeah.
I might not have to like do the work, but I mentioned it.
Yeah.
And he surprised me with it. I wasn't expecting it.
And it gets a little touchy when it starts to be like a tit for tat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if I go do something, like sometimes she'll go do it just because I did something.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
Like buy you a gift or like...
No, like if I buy something.
Splurge on yourself.
Splurge on myself. It's like, oh shit, I gotta go splurge on myself now.
So. She splurging with her money or she splurging with y'all's money?
Ours, bro.
Are you splurging with your money or splurging with
mine? Hell, you know this shit ain't fair.
They say my money is your money. Our money is... They say my money is my money and your money is our money?
Absolutely.
And you just eat it?
You pick your battles, man.
Hey,
it depends on what it is.
We're not just talking to women here. There are men.
Yeah, it depends
so they
on.
need to learn, like,
man, it depends on. Yeah, it depends on how much and what it is, man.
You got like a certain threshold.
Yeah, like so. Example, like she got my brother's girlfriend has early access to the Ivy Park Beyonce line.
Yeah.
So my wife took full and complete advantage of that. Yeah. But we were able to do that because for our anniversary this year, we paid off all our credit card debt as a gift to each other.
Yeah.
So we didn't go out on a date. We didn't get cards, flowers, none of that shit.
For that.
We were disciplined for that because we know we're getting a house that needed to be done. How better, how awesome would it be to just get rid of all your credit card debt and the feeling we have from doing
the
that?
feeling of like not having to burn.
And now it's like, okay, we can do this with cash. We don't need to utilize credit. So that was, I wasn't tripping on that.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. Why do you think you married up?
Because I realized this after losing everything I had, marrying up or down has nothing to do with money.
Oh, that's real. That's real. Do you think? What do you think your wife would say?
She'd be like, you know what, DJ, you're right.
I had to think about it. I like your wife. She's like, you know what?
Yeah. No, I think she would say the same thing. She would say the same thing. My family background, she even mentioned it when she said something at our family reunion. My folks from Jackson, Mississippi, and she went to a family reunion once, and she saw just the way we vibe together in that bond. And she was like, I'm not from Canada. We don't have things like this. I'm glad to see that y'all have this as a family. Yeah, so that was a huge...
No, I think I was going to ask, like, how do you guys, when you talk about, like, the fun... You mentioned that y'all have you get more time with each other because of your mom. How do you guys try to balance, or whether it was like when you first had him and when you're about to have another one as you're thinking about that in the future, balance the fun and the romance of a relationship with the like business and the work.
Man, you gotta be intentional. One of our good friends, she created a game. Or like a calendar of events that you intentionally do to keep dating, keep the spark and spice alive in a marriage. So you got to be intentional.
Y'all use that?
Nope. But it's cool.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to do a plug.
No, I haven't used it, but I've seen it before and I understand that, what she's...
premise behind it.
The whole premise behind it. And, you got to be intentional with that and keep dating while you're in a marriage, or else it could unintentionally get stale and crumble.
Yeah. What do you think you've learned the most, like in your marriage?
Learning the most is balancing your emotions, understanding everything that comes in.
Daddy?
Yes.
Give me a high five.
Good job. Give me a high five. Okay, now put them in the bucket for me, okay?
No bucket.
Okay, no bucket.
Look right there.
There it is right here. Right there.
No.
You
Okay.
don't want to, okay.
There it is.
No bucket.
All right. Fair enough.
You run it. You got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's all you. I've learned that, man, selflessness, being selfish at times is key.
Being selfish at times is key.
Absolutely.
All right. Here, it sound like he washing dominoes.
Yeah. taking the time you need. I learned that everything that comes in doesn't need to come out.
What do you mean by that?
The way you feel, every emotion that comes in does not need to be shared or expressed. I learned that marriage, you got to be able to handle those peaks and the valleys. And if you're single, if you get mad at somebody long enough and strong enough, you're out. And you have that option without any recourse, financially or otherwise. In a marriage, you don't have that option. You do, but it's a very expensive. It's a very expensive endeavor.
Yeah.
So you learn how to work through things, man.
You're forced to in some ways.
Yeah, figure it out. And if that means you go drive around the block. Like I picked up a convertible a couple years ago, man. I'll drive that and say, hey, I'm just going for a drive, clear my head.
Yeah.
And we respect that. So,
what do you think your wife has learned the most?
Good question.
Daddy.
We almost finished, and we can get you some juice.
I think she's learned. What has she learned the most? I think it's how to. So for me, I'm a very analytical and below the surface level thinker. So I think she's learned that with me, you can't just say and do whatever without it getting either checked, analyzed, or questioned. Yeah, I've never just accepted anything because it came out of anybody's mouth.
Yeah, I'm like that.
So it allows you to not be very siloed in your thinking or your vision. And so I think she's learned that, me as a husband, I look at things from multiple vantage points to try to give our family the best opportunity. Yeah. And even if that means no, I'm not doing it because I'm trying to hurt your feelings. It's like I'm trying to consider alternate options.
Yeah, no, I have learned that about myself, and I think that's something that I recognize as a thing for people. I think why some people say I have high emotional intelligence is because, one, I don't take what people say on the surface, and I'm trying to learn how to ask the questions better, but I'm also always trying to understand the why behind it.
Yeah, that's
not that the answer matters, but the thought process to why you chose.
How did you get there?
Yeah. Matters because that tells me a lot more about you.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes when you're asking that question, I continue to challenge myself of what are more productive ways to ask the question. Some people can think you're asking why because you're doubting why they did it. It's like a challenge of why they did it versus whatever your answer is your answer. I'm just getting information that you're not necessarily saying explicitly out of that, right? Like you could go do something, so you wash the dishes. I can just watch how you wash the dishes and be like, this person's kind of reckless. They're tumbling stuff down.
Right.
Or this person's very meticulous. They did this thing first, and then they did it this way. Then they wiped it clean.
Right.
And it's like, I learned about you by just seeing how you did it. The dishes got done.
Yeah, but how you did it is important.
It's the same thing in the question. Like, what you say, I think sometimes people get defensive around thinking the response is going to come with judgment. I'm like, nah, the response is what I want. I want to see how you move and why you do what you do, because that's going to tell me a lot more than if I asked you a straight up question and you gave me a straight up answer.
Correct.
And so I don't know if you have advice on that, how you can frame questions better so it doesn't come off like someone's.
Yeah, I've been told, you mentioning how direct I am, and I've always been that way. So my wife has checked me on things like, the way you deliver is. My mom
been saying that since I've been a kid.
Yeah, you can watch how you deliver it better. And so sometimes I got to put a little pretty bow around it. Yeah. To deliver the same message, but with a different frame, different intent behind it. Yeah. So, as a sarcastic person, you got to kind of watch that. Yeah. It can get out of hand sometimes.
Then you got to know the person well enough early. Yeah. You got to kind of go.
And even past that,
my mom's been saying since I was a kid, she goes, sometimes you have the best intentions, but the way it comes off kills it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's something I'm cognizant of, but it's. I think like you can't change who you are to some degree, but you have to be willing to modulate.
Absolutely.
In a way that makes sense. We spent a lot of time on it, but little man's here. Like, how's fatherhood changed you?
Man, fatherhood is awesome, bro. Like, I was a bit fearful of it. What's up, man?
F.
It's the letter F. Very good.
Well, he's smart.
Bro, he's already reading at 2.5, man. Like,
so I tell these kids, as I see them, I'm like becoming that guy that got a lot of friends with kids.
Yeah. So
I see their friends. I see these friends.
Go ahead, put them up there.
And I see the kids, and I look at the kids, and I tell them that, like, listen, you got no room to fail. You got no excuse to fail. If you fail, it's your fault because your parents are setting you up for success right now. And I'm low key. Hopefully, I'm a part of the mix, right?
Yeah.
But I'm low key excited for like what the world looks like in 20, 25 years when like my friends and hopefully my kids are starting to have like real impact in society.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and making a mark because I think like they're just gonna be so more well positioned than we were.
Yeah, and at first I was a bit fearful, anxious, excited, all in one about fatherhood, but it's not as difficult as people have made it seem.
Good job.
The funny part about fatherhood is good job. Letter K. All right. The funny part about fatherhood is when you start to see yourself in them, and when they're doing it, you're trying to discipline it without laughing. Bro, this dude is a character. Yes, sir.
It's B.
P. Hey, you don't have to tell me every letter. Just put them up there for me, okay?
Can you spell dog?
Spell your name. You know spell William? Spell it out. Find the W and the I and the L's and the A and the M.
That'd be impressive.
Yeah,
he's challenge on that. Mm-hmm. There you go.
So fatherhood.
You're gonna put it on the board and then we'll read it.
I give dads these tips when they're coming into fatherhood and they're scared or otherwise. Is one, nobody has this all figured out.
Yep.
Number 2, enjoy the journey, filter the noise, and lastly, do what works for you and your family.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
One of the last few questions we get on towards the end of it. When you think about your thought process growing up and now, like, why did you get married?
I knew I wanted to create a legacy and pass that down. Culturally, we don't come from a place of having assets passed down, having legacy passed down. I wanted to do that and create something for my children. I wanted to see them grow up and have that. I did well as a dad, that feeling. Do that with someone who was a partner.
Yeah. What were some of your biggest misconceptions when it came to marriage?
Oh, it's one big happy Instagram post. That shit ain't real.
What is the real part about it?
The real part is like marriage is tough. Marriage is ongoing. It's evergreen. It changes. There's highs, there's lows, and you got to be able to not get too high and too low about them. The people you're with, they change, mentally, spiritually, physically, and how do you handle those changes? Marriage is extremely dynamic, and it's a fun process, man. You definitely got to put in the work.
Yeah,
for sure.
You mentioned when you guys met, you were kind of ready, right?
Yeah.
What made you ready? And like looking back at, looking back in general, knowing what you know now, could you have been ready earlier? Should you if you had younger you, like, man, you should have been ready.
Nah.
Or that was the progression that you had to be.
It was a progression I had to be on, man. Being single, gainfully employed, bachelor, it's an expensive endeavor in itself.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
Dating around, I just got tired. I was just like, man, I'm tired of this shit. And a lot of times it's not really on the woman when she gets proposed to. It's when the man is, it's like when the woman is in that window of opportunity for the man.
Yeah.
And that's a real statement. It's like, if she's there when you're ready, congratulations. Timing is huge. So I got there by just saying, look, I'm done. I'm cutting women off. I'm done. And then that gives you so much clarity about other things, And fellas, y'all look up sperm retention as well. That's real.
What's that?
That's like where you go without any type of ejaculation. And that built up sperm and testosterone gives you extreme focus and concentration on other things in life. Yeah, look it up. That's a real thing? Yeah, look it up, man. Sperm retention.
So, like, if you don't nut
Yeah.
for 6 months, you're gonna be hella focused at work.
Yeah, you gonna be wired up. Yeah. So yeah, I ain't quite gone that long, but you know,
I gotta check that one out.
it's a thing.
What does it mean to be a man in your relationship?
That's such a broad term.
It might not be brought to you though. Like,
Yeah.
you think about it.
What do I mean to be a man? Man, it's fulfilling the goal of the family with genuine intentions, protecting, providing, doing the things that are tough to do, and you know, getting out of bed when you hear that knock at the door. You know.
What do you mean by that?
Like metaphorically and physically. There was one time we got a guy that's been squatting in some property near us. He knocked on our door at 5:30 in the morning, and my wife said, "Wake up!" You know, I didn't have a gun at the time, so I woke up like a little white chick on a scary movie and grabbed a knife. Yeah. Like, you know, like a little bitch. So I would go to the door, and I'm looking out the window, and the dude had stepped off the porch. He's like, "Man,
people had nests and all that kind of stuff. Cameras.
He's like, "Man, I didn't want to. You know, I'm sorry, but you left your top down on your car." And I was like, "Okay, bro. Like, your intentions are pure, but like, it's 5:30 in the morning. Yeah. Don't do that again. I'll deal with my car getting wet. Yeah. Just, you know." So, and then also, when you know what I mean by that knock at the door, is like handling things that are scary to handle.
Yeah,
you're the leader of the family, and how do you handle those things?
No, that's real. I think a lot of guys go to that sentiment and have to like step up, even though they may not be ready mentally to handle those situations.
And there's like this instinctive alarm or switch that goes off when you have a kid, man. And it happened as soon as I saw my son born. You feel this inherent responsibility that you can't describe. There's a level you can't fail. There's this level of instinct that takes over. Like, if he's too quiet too long, I know to go catch him. Or I've caught him falling off the couch before. Like the dad saves.
I seen a video. Dude was like reading to his older child.
Yeah,
she's probably like 6 or 7, and he's in the room. The kid's in the crib. I don't know what, and he's like focused reading to the kid is like leaning for something, and next you know the kid is toppling over.
Yeah, he jumps. In
the second he dives and catches the kid. It's crazy,
bro. It's the most insane and surreal feeling ever. Like your attachment to the child. D for daddy.
Look,
see,
smart. D for daddy.
You understand, yeah, like what he needs without him asking. So when that guy knocked on my door, first thing I'm thinking about, wife and kids almost simultaneously.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's real. What do you think? You know, you can trace it back to like you, but like, what do you think people? It doesn't have to. You could separate it by men and women or just gender. What do you think people are looking for, like in a forever partner? That like we going through, like it gets complicated, you know, for various reasons. But like at the core of it, what do you think people are looking for?
They're looking for someone to be equally yoked.
What does that mean?
You look at some couples and be like, how the fuck are they even? What did they see in each other?
Yeah, why is he
so your definition of what matters could be the exact opposite of what theirs is.
Yeah.
But they're equal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think whatever factors or checklists you may have, when it comes down to it, you want someone that is sharing those same things with you. So you're being equally yoked. The issue comes with, you know, when you're not equally yoked. As a female, you're asking for things from a man that you can't produce. Or a man, you're expecting things from a woman that you know she'll never obtain.
Yeah. And when you say that, are you saying things like...
I'm saying whatever your checklist is.
Yeah, but in broader senses,
sure.
Are you saying that like someone asking for things they will ever do, like apples to apples? Like, oh, you want her to do this, cook 4 days a week, and you won't cook? Or like you are coming to the table in a way and you want her to equally come to the table in that same way. Not that it's the exact same thing.
Not the same, but it's comparable.
Yeah,
comparable. Like if you're, you know, and no knock, but like if you're a night shift manager at Walmart and you got this Boris Cujo 6'5", he's an investment banker at the top of his field. You're like, girl, that's the man I want. That's great that you may want that. What's the likelihood of him even checking for someone like you?
Yeah.
Y'all ain't even two different levels of life.
Yeah. So
being equally yoked.
And realizing that. Get over yourself to realize that.
Get over yourself to realize that.
So I was going to ask you about this, just to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
So that's someone sent me a clip. People send me clips now. I get my perspective on it. And it was this woman talking to this guy. He does, I guess, a show. Mm-hmm. And basically, she lives in L.A. She said she's like really attractive, slim build. Mm-hmm. She's older. She's probably like 34, 33, early 30s. Mm-hmm. She got 2 kids. Mm-hmm. And she was saying like she keeps meeting these well-to-do guys, but she hasn't got any of them to propose or marry her.
Because she has kids?
And he was like, that is a big deal. Yeah. Like, what a guy thinks about, like, can he raise him the way he wants to? She's like, if I trust him, he can do it. She's like, can he spank your child? She started hesitating, da-da-da. He's like, these are things that, like, why would he want you when he can get someone else that's going to be fun, younger, yada, yada, yada. And she couldn't get over herself to realize. She's like, my kids are great.
That's great to you there.
But the guy can get other stuff, and sometimes we have to get out of our own.
Yeah, because he has options, especially now. Like if you look at the numbers of available gainfully employed women to men, it's the men have what 8, 10 to 1.
Yeah, and I used to say this jokingly, like if I'm gonna consider someone that has kids, she probably got damn near be perfect. And I don't mean like I'm looking for perfection in her. Yeah. Like everything else has to be like kind of like,
because you have so many other options.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really good. Where like I'm so compelled by her. They're like that. Like you said, you look over other stuff. Yeah. I feel so good about her. Yeah. That's what I mean by perfect. That for me, right? Yeah. That like I can look over that. Right. Because I already got what I want out of that person. Fair. Yeah. But when we talked about that bigger group where you kind of like and you're trying to check the margins. Yeah. That's huge. Margin.
And it goes to being equally yoked. For me, like I've had a decision to make around a woman that had a child, and I chose not to because I don't know what it's like to have one. Yeah. Because I didn't have one, so navigating that field would be foreign to me. And I don't know my boundaries, the etiquette around it. I just don't know.
Was that non-negotiable for you?
For a while, it was. Yeah.
I've grown out of that, but again, I still think you got to be perfect in the sense like I got to know, and that might take longer. So you have to be. He's like what he said. He kept it real. He's like that's a consequence of your decisions.
Absolutely.
He was like 100%. You made that decision. Yeah. And so that's a consequence that you can't.
And even it's a consequence for guys that say, hey, that's not negotiable for me. Yeah. You may be waiting longer. Yeah. Or you may not. You may be dating extremely younger.
Yeah. Yeah, and deal with the things that come
and
with
deal
that.
with things she's trying to.
For me, at this age, more women are going to have kids than not.
Absolutely.
And so if you want someone that's probably going to be more equally yoked from a career with mindset,
she will probably have a kid.
She might have a kid. It's a greater chance you have a kid. If you're willing to...
yeah, you want to deal with some 22, 24-year-old bullshit, go ahead.
Yeah. That's so cool. But just know there's trade-offs to everything that we do.
100%.
I felt like someone was talking to me. I felt like the best way I've described what I'm looking for, and I think ultimately what people should be striving for, you want to find someone that like gonna be a forever road trip partner. Like when you think about like going on like long ass road trip, like going from Florida to Seattle.
Bro, how you think my wife got from Toronto to Houston?
Oh, y'all drove?
Nigga.
Oh, I thought y'all. I just assumed y'all flew.
Bro, that's the funniest.
I just assumed y'all flew.
It's a great assumption, but no. But I like the road. Yeah,
because you
road
have
trip partner example.
You have to like be comfortable being with that person. Like you guys, like it makes the trip fast, right? Like you lose track of time. Also, you're comfortable enough like to have silence and not be okay,
bruh. So what we did, I flew to Buffalo, New York, which is about an hour, maybe 45 minutes from Toronto. She drove with all her stuff in her car. So I one way. Yeah. We both meet in Buffalo, and we drove down to Houston. Sheesh. Took us 2 days. We stopped. One of my boys lives in Ohio. One of my producer friends, Tyler, he lives in Ohio. We drove from there to stayed in Kentucky. So we went through the progression of what felt like a marriage on that trip. We got in the car. Yeah, we listened to music.
This is cool.
This is cool, man. We listen to music, sing along. We got around Kentucky. It got a little quieter.
You got pee for pee. You got pee. How you handle the pee?
Started listening to some jazz and shit around Kentucky. The next day we drove, we got through Tennessee, and then we came through that long stretch of Houston where you're coming down maybe through Shreveport trying to get through. And we got home, we was like, man, just get the fuck out the car, bro. Get your shit. We'll get the rest tomorrow. Yeah. So that whole shift.
Yeah, it's an experience.
It was an experience. But I like that example. Like, you want to have a dope road trip partner.
And I said, like, because you want to have someone that you have fun with.
Yeah.
You want to have someone like when times are not the most fun, you guys still are cool and it doesn't feel bad.
Here's another thing I really want. Or I really like that I have is that I want to be able to take her to an event, not tell her what to wear, and have her show up in an event or a gala, and she can handle her own.
Make it work.
Well, not just that, she can handle her own without me being right there.
Yeah, it's just make it work. Like,
I can look over and she's holding a convo on her own.
You don't have to feel like I love that aspect about people.
Yeah.
Like you bring them, like even like you introduce her to friends event.
And they adapt.
Introduce her, and you go do your thing. You don't feel like you have to be right next to that person every time.
Exactly.
And the other part that I said I think goes unspoken is you also want to feel like you trust that person enough that like you can go to sleep. Like you can put that person in the passenger and in the driver's side. You can sit there and you can go to sleep. Not like they're driving and you're watching it too.
Yeah.
Like you could get good sleep because you trust them.
Right.
To like whatever happens, they're gonna take care of it. And you knocked out. You didn't even know that you went from Tennessee and you already in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And you had like that's a level of trust that you want in a partner that like, things happen. So that's been my analogy for like what you want, because I think when you look at it through that lens, it takes a lot of the bullshit that we say we look for X, Y, and Z.
Right. That's a great analogy, man.
Thank you. I'm sharpening them up. When the book come out, I'm sharpening these things. Okay. You know? The last two questions is, you got a little man here. When you think about him 20 years from now, 25 years from now, like, what advice are you gonna give him?
Man, I want him to be able to navigate this world with extreme realism. Understand that, let's put it like this. My mentor told me, he said, D, and I asked him, I said, man, what do I want to do with this fatherhood? What were some fatherhood tips you can give me? He said, man, you want to have your kid walk around like he owns the world. From a sense of, I'm exploring it, let me figure it out, let me go conquer it. Culturally, we don't do that with our children. No, stop.
I'm trying to get my kids white privilege.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, stop. Don't do that. Don't do this. Put that down. I let him explore with discipline, right?
Yeah.
But I let him go figure stuff out. That's how I was raised. Yeah. So I'm carrying on in the tradition. So what I want to raise him in a world where he understands finances, he understands money, he's able to make his own analytical decisions. I want to give him that level of trust. I want to give him, the freedom to go to college for free, own real estate. Like, we got rental properties. I want him to grow up asking me about that. Dad, well, how do I do this? And when he gets in college, I want him to own a property and create this next level, a little
bit more of a head start.
Head start are so crucial, and not do that thing where like he's black, he's 18, he's got to get out the house. Yeah, I'm not helping him. Like, if I have the ability to
move back to my parents' house,
why? You know what I mean?
Like, it's been an interesting concept. Like, I'm 30, 34, and I'm about to live with my parents. Yeah, but like my lease is about to be up, and I get the opportunity before I buy a house to save a few dollars and sign a new lease. And
go do it.
They got a big house. Like, why would I
go do it? You know how quick you can save 10, 20 grand?
Yeah. I'm staying with them for 4 months, then like trying to man it up and then figure out like a situation when like that's the privilege of having those things to be there for.
And the scary part that I've talked to my dad about is like, so when I was 6 years old, we got a letter from the KKK living in Katy, Texas. And for him, I absolutely cannot afford to cripple him when it comes to race relations in the United States. So I've got to have those tough conversations with him about that and what that means to be a black male growing in the United States. So I expect him to receive it, and I can't wait to see how he grows up, man. It's gonna be a fun journey.
Got it. When you think about specific to like relationships, what advice you gonna give him? No.
Specific to relationships?
Yeah, specific to relationships. What kind of advice you give him in 20, 25 years? Or women dating?
Man, he's got curly hair, a little light skin. He's Rico Suave over here. Okay, man. Okay. You wanna go pick up your letters? Go pick up your letters for Daddy. Put them in the jar, okay?
We're almost done. We're about to wrap it up. So so what would you like when it comes to dating? What would you give him? Advice would you give him?
When he's 15, I'm like, man, it's gonna be puppy love type deal. Be smart, be safe, wrap it up.
Yeah. Oh, he's 25.
Be equally yoked. Make sure she's a good road trip partner.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. You about to have a little girl, so what about her when she gets older? What kind of dating advice would you give her?
I just bought a gun 2 days ago, so that's how you start that.
What's that?
Bad Boys 2? Speaking of that, my brother, he's been hilarious about that. He can't wait to be the mean uncle when my daughter goes to prom.
Daddy.
Yes, sir. And then I got him. Mama William's gonna look after this.
Big brother gonna be ready.
But I think I gotta be realistic with her when it comes to dudes, when it comes to game. I gotta give her free game. I gotta spoil her so she knows what gifts look like, and I gotta be the first man she loves.
My we'll leave it there, man. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely, man.
Big man, I appreciate you. You gave us a lot of time. Give me a high five for that.
Hey. All right.
If I didn't know you was coming, I'd have got something for you too. But thanks again for your time. I appreciate it, man. This was
Absolutely,
great.
man. Thank you so much.
Shout out to the listeners who support each and every week. I couldn't keep moving forward without you. So I just want to make sure I'm recognizing you. Be sure to keep the movement going. Tell a friend when you listen to it. If you love it, make sure you're sharing it with several friends every single time. Ensure that you're following us on Instagram at Think Love Wife and you're subscribed to your platform of preference. Next week, we have a whole new interview. I'm excited for this. We're going to explore some of the interracial dating and marriage components of it. I think it's going to be a good one. So make sure you tune in next week for that. It's a wrap. But until next time, you know what it is. I hope the conversation keeps going.